Last month, the University of San Francisco made an alarming discovery that 93% of Americans tested had traces of a chemical called glyphosate in their urine. Last year, the World Health Organization deemed glyphosate a possible carcinogen. So why is glyphosate everywhere, including inside of us? Because it's the main ingredient in biotech giant Monsanto's flagship product, Roundup, a pesticide sprayed all over almost every acre of food grown. With new revelations of a seemingly urgent health crisis of a cancerous chemical infecting nearly everyone, one would think the company responsible, along with the US government, would take measures to protect people, but in fact, they've done the opposite. Monsanto has already proven it cannot be trusted to care about anything but money, especially when lives are at stake. Over the next 20 years, Monsanto, with the government's help, flooded the planet with seeds and ate up its competition, acquiring dozens of companies along the way. Monsanto now produces 80% of the corn and 93% of the soy, two ingredients that make up the base of almost all processed foods in the US. By 1995, the EPA had ranked Monsanto 5th among US corporations on its list of top dumpers of poison, having discharged over 37 million pounds of toxins into the air, water, and land. But Obama has been one of the most pro-Monsanto presidents thus far. Heavily sponsored by the ag industry, he's given the company billions to secure a foothold in Africa and appointed several Monsanto executives to top government positions. With decades of creating a well-oiled machine of propaganda, protection, and privilege, their latest tricks to protect their profits threatens more people than ever before. Many studies have already made the connection between glyphosate exposure and a number of serious human health effects, including cancer. Not only has Roundup's super technological, expensive method not proven higher crop yields, the entire ecological balance of the earth is threatened by Roundup's toxins. Currently in negotiations with Bayer, the two are the top suppliers of agrochemicals, seeds, and GMO crops. A marriage between them would take that dominance to a new level.
You're responsible parents, right? At home, you keep hazardous products out of the reach of the kids. But there is a chemical threat that you can't fight against. Pollutants that you can't see and that you can't smell, but to which our children are very exposed. Dangerous particles that are hidden in our food and in the water that we drink. They are the most vulnerable when it comes to chemical products. Cancers, birth abnormalities, hormonal problems, mental impairments, and even autism. To measure the exposure of the children from these schools, we suggest a little experiment to their parents. We take a lock of hair from the children. On average, these children have 44 pesticides in their hair, of which 24 are categorized in these red columns. pesticides that are banned, but which are still present in the environment, or authorized pesticides that are classed as dangerous, carcinogenic compounds, toxic to reproduction, neurotoxic, mutagenic, hormone disruptive.
C'est un cocktail, ouais, ça c'est sûr.
Est-ce qu'il y a plus de risques pour ces enfants-là?
On sait que l'exposition à un cocktail de différents polluants, pesticides ou autres peut avoir des effets à court terme ou à long terme, des fois transgénérationnels, sur les individus qui ont consommé.
In the United States, they are seeing an explosive growth in autism. The highly official CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, is blunt. 1 in every 68 children is affected by an autism spectrum disorder.
La pandémie est mondiale. Cette année, le nombre de cas d'autistes diagnostiqués chez les enfants sera supérieur au diagnostic de diabète, de cancer et de sida additionnés. Voilà, c'est ça la réalité. C'est hallucinant.
The increase in autism amongst children could also be linked to our chemical environment, and one insecticide in particular.
Right now, we have a total of 12 chemicals on the list where we are convinced that those chemicals actually harm children in regard to their brain development. We have also added some pesticides like chlorpyrifos.
Chlorpyrifos is an insecticide that is widely used, particularly in the United States. The red areas are those where pesticide usage is the most highly concentrated. The results are conclusive. 31.94 picograms of chlorpyrifos, well above the detection limits. We fly over Kauai, the oldest island of the Hawaii archipelago. The island has one distinctive feature. The world's biggest agrochemical companies have all taken up residence here. Because the climate is ideal, up to 4 harvests per year. Dow, DuPont, Syngenta, BASF, they are all here. Monsanto is just opposite, on the neighboring island. It's the largest open-air laboratory for GMOs in the world. These companies use huge quantities of pesticides. The sprayers are everywhere. Doctors on the island have rung the alarm bells. 50 of them have signed an appeal on the worrying number of birth deformities.
Our population here probably have much higher incidence, about 10 times of the national rate.
Are you worried about this chemical exposure?
I do. I think we should have somebody to really look into all these numbers, and so we can find something unusual happen.
In Hawaii, in the great democracy game, the chemical industry is the winner.
We go through this belief of having the right to express ourselves and vote, and we have done that, and we were victorious, and then they hold everything up. It's saying we don't count. What it's saying is that corporations, have more importance in their world than we, the people, and the children.
The winners and the losers are always the same.